All right. Picture this. You sit down Saturday morning to finally start your email list. You open a tab for a landing page builder, another for an email tool, another for how to write a welcome email, a fourth for examples.
And then it's 3 hours later. You've got 11 tabs open. You have a half-finished landing page, nowhere near ready. The coffee's cold. The kids, I have a daughter, are asking for lunch. So I close my laptop and I'll try again next weekend.
Yeah, that's all like hitting a little too close to home. So today, we're going to do the whole thing in one sitting, live using AI. We're going to spin up the landing page, spin up a form, landing page in Lovable, form in AWeber, and then we're going to trigger an automated welcome series with that form sign up. And it's all going to be connected, ready to use. So by the time we sign off, you'll have a workflow that you can actually use today.
Yeah, this is the Shift AI show presented by AWeber. I'm Chris.
I'm Jesse. Here we go. All right. Well, that's like the level of excitement I imagine everyone
People
has.
are just going nuts. They're going nuts watching this right now.
Clearly, I've been getting carried away with like 90s VHS effect AI videos. Well, welcome. I apologize for a slightly late start today. Chris and I were just honestly having fun talking about AI's impact on small businesses, and we should have maybe been live for that, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna do some like pretty practical stuff today, and I'm excited about this one because Vinny's only here for the intro. I think that's a compliment.
It's my favorite part too.
That's
I love
it. But I'm excited about this one because I mean, sometimes, you know, like Friday was a rough show in the sense that like, I think there was so much noise around like Google I/O and what they were going to do with AI. And the reality was like, some of this is useful. Some of this really isn't or isn't even here yet. So I'm excited for a show like today. I don't know about you, Chris, because this is like a super practical walkthrough with some pretty rad AI tools and like a really useful outcome.
Yes, I'm stoked about today because like we meant it in the cold open, which I was reading the wrong version of, so forgive me. This is something that if you're following along, if you have a Lovable account and an AWeber account, you'll be all hooked up with something that you can use by the end of our time together. So Jesse's driving today. I can't wait to see the cool stuff.
We're gonna jump in. Okay. So this is not the first time that we've used Lovable. If you watched episode 8, we compared building a website or a web app in Lovable as well as Replit. Today, we're going to be using Lovable again. And the first step of this is like just spinning up a landing page or one-page site or something like that for your product or service. It's entirely likely that you already have this, but I wanted to be able to really show end-to-end in case you're just sitting there going, I have not started any of it. I want to make sure you can understand the entire thing. So in Lovable, which is lovable.dev, you can just prompt it conversationally and tell it what you want to do. So I've actually already pasted my prompt in here. And I'm just asking it to design a new landing page for my newsletter called Havertown News. The website is havertown.news, and it's all about Havertown, PA. It's sent weekly on Monday morning at 7 a.m., and it just contains recent news, upcoming events, special discounts, and anything else that people who love Havertown will care about. Now, you may recognize that if you watched episode 8, we actually did spin up a page for that. So I'll get this going, and we'll see like what other result it gives. But rather than making y'all watch it work, I do have the version that we spun up a couple of episodes ago. So if you remember, we have this page that it put together for my newsletter, forms included, a little bit about the page, pretty straightforward landing page. Now, I'm only short-circuiting that because it takes like 3-4 minutes for it to spin up the first draft, but I don't want to make everybody sit through that because the really important part here is like you get your page up and then we're going to show how to connect that page to the form using the AI form builder to the workflow that automatically goes out. So you can have that little kind of email starter kit. Now, one of the beautiful things with Lovable is that it is also a conversational AI tool. So anything that I need to do, I can really just ask it. I've got my page. So we're going to move over into actually building the form that I want to place on it. As you can see, it has some basic email sign up forms, but I want to do like a pattern interrupt and like give a further incentivized offer for them to sign up. Like, just caring about Havertown and wanting to know what's going on isn't incentive enough. So I want to offer a little bit more and kind of break their attention when they come to the page.
So how do you get to your incentive? Like, what's the process that you use to figure out what you wanted to offer?
Yeah, I think it's really, I don't know if there's a process so much as just kind of like a frame of mind. Like what can I offer that's not the full product, right? Like in the case of this, because it's about a local community, it's a local newsletter. My thinking is like, let's give discounts that we've worked out with local business owners that are exclusive to those businesses. So I'm going to incentivize like 10% off to a local business for signing up. If you're an author, maybe it's get the first chapter of my upcoming book for free by email for signing up to my newsletter. If you are a coach of some kind, maybe it's a 30-minute discovery call that's free if they sign up for your newsletter. Like there's just, it's finding a bridge to your real product and service.
Yeah. I'm thinking of another case, like one of our Jesse and I worked together at AWeber, and another product manager that we had worked with is also a travel blogger. And for him, it would be so cool to have something like, hey, to get my like 5 hidden gems, like the best secret spots that I don't want to just get completely overwhelmed by tourists in this city, in Madrid or something, sign up. Like that
Yeah,
could be
like
such
the
a
off the
cool
beaten
thing.
path places,
Yeah.
or the travel hacks to get through, customs and security without the headache based on his experience. Some kind of guide
Love
or,
it.
like lightweight guide. I think that like you're right. People often it's like, well, do I have to give them access to all of it? And it's really just like it's this incentivized taste that acts as a bridge to what you're actually offering. So in this case, I'm offering news about Havertown, so I want to incentivize by, and also like I like it because it's a local newsletter, and we have a lot of locally owned businesses, so it's also a way of kind of like giving. That's the incentive to the business, is it's exposure for them and getting people in the door there. All right, so we have the page, and as you can see, it's actually live. In real time. And in a second, I'm going to share that URL, but not quite yet because we actually can test the form in real time once we build that. To start with the form, I'm jumping over to my AWeber account now. So we have Lovable. We spun up our page. I'm not going to go step by step through like how to publish the Lovable page, and I apologize for that right now, but it's more of a time constraint. If you want to do more of that, go to episode 8 when we're done today. On the YouTube channel, and we cover that like much more in depth, where you can actually walk through how to actually go from like idea to published site or landing page. In AWeber, on my dashboard, I'm going to navigate to pages and forms, and then there's this new menu item, AI sign up forms, and this is our sign up form builder. I'm actually going to create a new form. And as you can see, there's kind of this fill in the blank option if I'm really not sure what I want to do. There's also some templates that I can start from. But in my case, I'm just going to click up here and write my own prompt for it. So I actually have my prompt pasted in here. I'm asking it to create a form for my website, Havertown News. It should pop over the full screen and be dismissible. It should have a spin wheel that they have to click to spin, and then it'll land on 10% off a local business and prompt them to sign up with name and email. It should look like the brand attached. I've attached a screenshot of my landing page. On subscribe, apply the tag 10%, and I'll explain why that matters in a little bit, but I want it to apply a specific tag when they use this form. And then I give it some more, kind of creative direction. I want the background transparent, how long it should wait before it pops up after they, land on the page. and what kind of confirmation I want to give them. And we'll see all of that.
Yeah, and Jesse's demonstrating something that we've talked about a lot, and that is with a vague prompt, you can expect to get uh, a surprising result.
Mm-hmm.
It'll because all of the details you leave out, the model is going to have to fill in for you. So
Yeah.
things about color and behavior, and it's just going to do its best guess. So
Yeah.
Jesse did a great job of laying out like this is how I want it to look, this is how I want it to behave, this is the type of form I want, without going overboard. Like that wasn't a
Yeah.
huge prompt,
No.
but just called out the specific behaviors.
When I think, and I think like, and the real intent there is just to get closer to a usable result faster. If I started more vague, I could get to the same spot. And full disclosure, as I was working through this, some of that prompt was actually follow-up questions, but then I kind of recompiled it in a more, sometimes I'll be honest with you. Sometimes I like coming at it with a bit of a vague idea and seeing what it comes up with, and then kind of reacting and iterating from there conversationally. Other times, yeah, I want to be as explicit as I can because I really want, I have this very concrete idea of what I want and I want to see it first. Or I want to see it in reality. One of the things that we did on one of the other episodes was like, you can take that kind of vague idea and work through that prompting with Claude or ChatGPT and have it write a really comprehensive prompt for the form builder for you. If you want like to take that like super extensive approach. Again, both versions can be fun. So this is a version that it came up with on that first prompt. Okay. It's fine. I don't love that. Like it didn't really show the 10%. So I'm actually going to pop over to the version that I did this morning, just shortly before the show started, with a little bit of, slight additional variation, but it came up with this version for me. And I think what I like about this one, I probably would have asked the other one for is like, it actually has the prizes on the pinwheel. So you see them. And when I spin this one, it's going to go around and around and around. And believe it or not, every single time it lands on 10%. Now, like for what it's worth, you could get more complex and have it like very much randomize which option it landed on and apply a tag based on that prize. I asked it very specifically. I wanted to just offer the 10% off a local business each time. So it lands on 10%. It pops up, asks their name and email. And on submit, it gives them a little celebration notification that they're all signed up. Cool. So we've got our form.
Awesome.
I'm gonna consider this usable, ready to go. I want to put it on my site and I want to start getting people in using that incentive. In the form builder here, again, there's so much more. And Chris and I went over this. Was it last Tuesday we did the form builder? I think a week ago.
I think that's right.
Where we spend like I think we spent maybe 40 minutes just showing off all the things you can do with the form builder. There's a lot more. For the purposes of this, we're going to kind of move through the process here, but you can click in to edit specific areas. You can prompt iterative changes, whatever you need to do. You can even view the code if you need to see that. But I'm going to click the settings wheel up at the top here, and it's going to show me the settings for how to put this onto my site. It has very clear, quick one-time setups. Basically, the only remotely technical part, which I wouldn't even call technical, is copying a code snippet and having it inserted in the head tag of your website. Now, there's different process and specific instructions. You can go to help.aweber.com to look those up if you need it, or we might be able to drop those in here in a moment. Depending on if you're using WordPress or Squarespace or Shopify or where your site is hosted. But either way, it's a same fairly simple one-time process. And that's the most important thing to call out, I think, right, Chris, is like you install this code snippet once on your site, not for every form you create.
Yes, exactly.
It's just a one-time setup. And then from there on forward, you'll always be able to trigger forms on any pages you want to on that site because of that single snippet. And we'll show that in a second.
Yeah. And so the cool thing is that's all like really easily configurable. So yeah. I'm going to drop the links that Jesse was talking about to WordPress and Shopify so you see how it works. But then it's worth that effort because then you can create any form and display it on any page on that domain. It's awesome.
And it's not repeat like annoying technical work. So I copy the code snippet. And in Lovable, I mean, this is one of the things that I love about, I didn't mean to say it that way, that I really like about Lovable, is just even something technical like this can be conversationally done. So I just asked it, add this snippet to my site's head tag. And I paste the snippet and it goes. Now I did this earlier, so it's actually already on there, but it was neat too to see like the way Lovable was working, because it didn't just insert it, but it also like did a check to make sure that there weren't any conflicts created by adding that to my head tag, so that it wasn't going to just accidentally break something because it pasted it in there. Now I will say, and Chris, I don't know, we don't want to like get too deep into it. I think this is a really fun flow, going like Lovable to the AWeber AI form builder, to the workflow that we're going to kick off. But there is a future not too far away where like the Lovable step becomes unnecessary, right? And it's actually even more streamlined.
Yeah. So this actually works really well with Tracy's question that they just asked. Is Lovable similar to Claude or OpenAI? Same general idea. It's actually different. It's a website builder that is based around AI. So instead, like you can have Claude or OpenAI design a website for you, but you generally have to host it somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Lovable, and I included a link in the chat a little bit further up, lets you design and publish your website to a domain on the internet. It could be a custom domain or a Lovable domain.
Mm-hmm.
And AWeber, as you see in the sign up form builder, that's not very far away from a page builder. And that is the direction that we're heading with our builders. Is we want you to be able to build sign up forms, pages, emails, whatever it is you need to build with this conversational interface, so you can spend more time on the creative side of things and less time on the tedium.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in terms of like the site builder part, where we're headed and what Lovable is, Replit to an extent, it's, you think of, people used to, half the small business world uses WordPress for their websites, or Squarespace, or Wix. It's conversational in the sense that Claude and OpenAI are, but they're building your website and hosting it, and it can produce some like pretty killer results really fast. Which I think is just it's templates are no longer necessary, right? Just ideas,
Yeah.
and specific feedback on ideas. So I've asked it to, it inserted, it actually told me that's already included because I did this earlier, but that snippet is now on my site. So I know now, back in the form builder, I'm going to be able to trigger my form. So on that settings page, if I go down below here, I have some settings. It asks me what page I want it to show up on for Havertown News. Now I'm going to have it show up on all pages. Spoiler, Havertown News is a one-page site, so it really doesn't matter anyway. I can set how often I want it to go. I can schedule it. So if it's like a limited time offer, I can even be like, hey, start it on this date and end it on this date, so that people aren't seeing it outside of like that window. And I can choose what devices to show it on. If it's something that I don't want to be showing on mobile, or I don't want to be showing on desktop, I can be a little bit more specific there too. So once I have changed those settings, I actually, let me toggle this inactive. I will activate my form or publish. Now I've already had an active form here. So you see, I've got this toggle where I can turn it on or off. You'll see a publish button the first time. And if you make changes, like if I were to say, only show this once per visitor, or once per session, I can save those settings, and I'm ready to go. So again, this is my form, and now I'm going to jump over to Havertown News, and y'all can actually go here if you want to right now and try it, just to prove that I'm not lying. Oh, it's not even going to show as a URL, is it? So that silly extension.
You have your fancy TLD.
My fancy TLD. But if you go to havertown.news, you'll be able to test this. I'm going to refresh here. And it's supposed to pop up after 2 seconds, and boom, there's my form on my live site. It takes over the page. It is dismissible if I don't want to interact with it. But let me refresh, because we do want to try it out.
If it's once per visitor,
Oh,
you
I
might
did
need to
make it
create
once
your
per visitor,
local storage.
didn't I?
Yeah.
Whoops. I just eliminated myself from
Well, I just signed up.
getting to see it again.
I I just completed it and got the success notification. That's
There you
really
go.
cool.
All right, so here we go. Let's do it. All right, so it pops up again. I click spin, around it goes, and to answer, I think it was Miss J's question or somebody earlier. Yes, I asked it to only land on 10%, but like I said, you could probably get like more creative with that and actually offer randomized discounts or incentives or whatever.
Yeah. The key is you'll just want to tell it if you
Yeah.
want to offer multiple incentives, you want it to tell it to apply a tag based on
Mhm.
the incentive it lands on, so you can
Right.
tell the difference.
You know, and I think that's I don't want to make sure I didn't gloss over that. In the prompt, I had said on subscribe, apply the tag 10%. And we're going to use that in a second. That'll make sense. Um, but yeah, I could have said offer these 4 different options, you know, give them the result randomly. And for this one, apply this tag, for this offer, apply this tag, for this, and that way, what we're about to show will make sense in terms of delivering the incentive that we've offered them. So I get it. I'm going to sign up. And ta-da, I get my little celebration notification. Probably ask it to center that check mark. I don't know why that's over on the left there. But now I'm just being nitpicky. So there you go. So that's the incentivized form. After 2 seconds on my site, it pops up, takes over. They interact, they get their special discount offer, they sign up, and they get tagged to my AWeber list with 10%, which we're going to jump into in a second here. But that was in terms of the form builder, I prompted it, I got the result that I wanted. And, you know, it was my first one, I go apply that code snippet. But if I'm just building a new form and I've already got that code snippet applied, like all from the AWeber backend, I'm triggering and turning this thing on and publishing changes. And it's super user friendly and easy. So now over in AWeber, I want to show you. Share this time said. Here's my subscriber record. So this is the sign up that I just completed, and you see down here I've got tag 10%, and I'm automatically just those signups are being added into my AWeber list.
That's awesome.
So the way we're going to use those now, we want to deliver the 10%, right? So I'm going to use an automated workflow. And the beauty of something like this is that every single time somebody signs up and gets that tag applied, it's going to send whatever series of emails or email that I set up to them. It can be 3 a.m. I can be sound asleep. I can be on vacation. It really doesn't matter. This thing is going to continuously automatically go out every time somebody signs up and gets that tag applied. So I'm going to create a workflow, and I will start from scratch for this one. But we have a whole bunch of AWeber has a whole bunch of starter templates here that are super useful, whether you're like re-engaging, selling a product, welcoming subscribers for like a welcome series for all subscribers that sign up. I'm going to start from scratch. And the first thing that I have to do is decide how this workflow gets triggered. Now, again, as you remember, I'm having that 10% tag applied. So I'm going to choose only to send to people who have the tag 10% applied. And now my starter or my trigger is that 10% tag. You can also choose other triggers like everybody who signs up for that list. So like on sign up, everybody gets this workflow. Like that's usually pretty good for like a welcome series or something like that, where you want to make sure that you're engaging and welcoming everybody. But for a specific offer like this, I'm going to choose a tag so that I know just the people who came through that offer form are getting the workflow. And I'm going to add a step. And the first thing I'm going to do is send them a message. I'm going to create from scratch here, and it's going to take me right into the message editor. So I've got my template loads automatically, which is essentially my Havertown like welcome series. But I'm just going to make a small tweak to it here that says, you know, your special offer of 10% off a local Havertown business is ready to be used at, and then I'm going to say it's the Bookery, a little local bookshop and coffee shop in town. And maybe it's, just show them this email or something like that. You can get a little more complex with like how you offer those things. You could do a randomized code. You could do a promo code that they have to show, a coupon. You could pull in like a coupon template here that, they would have to show, and you can modify what it says. But basically, I just want to make sure that I'm saying, hey, here's where you can get 10% off by going in and showing them this email that you signed up for Havertown News. And they're going to give you 10% off your next purchase there. Hopefully you're buying a ton of books, because that's going to be a super valuable 10%. Or a lot of coffee. All right. So then I'm going to save my message. So get rid of that. And I'm going to make this stand out a little bit more. And we'll save and exit. All right, so now in my workflow, again, it's triggered by the 10% tag, and then people automatically get this email that we just put together that tells them where their 10% is good, and just to show the email to get it. Good enough for now. Actually, I guess I should have added a subject line. I'll use the subject line assistant to suggest one. Welcome to H-Town News. Enjoy your Bookery discount. Cool. Easy, done. Save and exit. And then in my workflow builder here, I can get much more complex. I can continue to add other emails. I can branch based on behavior and give them different content based on what they do or don't interact with, based on other tags that they may have. For now, this is all I care about. I just want to be able to deliver the offer that I promised them on that 10%. So I'm going to click here up top, and I'm going to publish this workflow. So now we're live. If I go back here, you'll see that my new workflow is turned on, and we're good to go. So if I were to jump back over to Havertown News again, and once more, I'm going to spin the wheel. Wow, 10% again. Who would have thought? And I'm going to sign up one more time with a fresh email. I'm going to claim my deal. Yay. Check your inbox to confirm and claim your 10% off deal from a local Havertown business. See you Monday morning, because that's what we're sending. And if I jump over into my inbox, you see I just seconds ago received that exact email that we had talked about. Hi, Jesse. Welcome and thanks for subscribing to H-Town News. Your special offer of 10% off a local Havertown business is ready to be used at the Bookery. Just show them this email. So boom, just like that, we've gone from spinning up a landing page, quickly installing a really cool interactive form with an incentivized offer on that landing page, taking those subscriptions, tagging them, and delivering that offer automatically using an AWeber workflow. So that's kind of the little email starter kit, right? Like now you're building your list. Now you can start to explore what else you do with that list, whether that's a consistent weekly newsletter or other promotional offerings. I just saw Tracy's note. That's a good point. My trust is broken in them forever too. And the scratch off ones, you do like the scratch off forms, and it's like always the same offer. But like, in all honesty, you really could make this a randomized, like true randomized offer where they might get 10%, they might get $20 off, or they might get a free mug. Like you can absolutely change how that works for sure. So that's it. Like that's kind of the end to end. Chris, anything that you feel like we missed, or like that should be like clarified here in terms of like going Lovable to form builder to actual delivery mechanism?
No, and the thing I really don't want to get lost here is that like a lot of what Jesse was walking through was like AI, obviously the Lovable side of things for building your website, and the AWeber side for building that really interesting, engaging sign up form, which is just so cool. Like our team is just going wild creating these really intense forms. We had
Mhm.
somebody build like a really pretty impressive like space flight simulator as a sign up form, which is just it's just out of this world.
Yeah.
Um, but, pairing that with traditional automation, like Jesse showed in Aweber's workflows, like that is, a way to actually make your life easier. And the thing that, in particular, that I'm trying to say about this is like AI is helpful and it solves a lot of problems that traditional automation couldn't solve. But there are cases where traditional automation is better than trying to smash something together with AI tools. So pairing like AI tools like Lovable and AWeber to create these things that might have been too difficult to create in the past or too time consuming, even if you could create them with traditional automation like AWeber's workflows, that gives you something that is useful and predictable. You know, you can be confident that it's going to keep working. It's going to do exactly what you want it to. When somebody signs up, you want to send them an email with a specific discount. It's probably better to use traditional automation than it is to use an AI agent in that loop. But the marriage of those two things, traditional automation and AI tools, lets you do some really impressive things that you couldn't in the past. It's very cool.
Yeah. And I think that's the point is a good form that's incentivized and has low friction and like encourages engagement is going to lead to higher conversions. But to build that form, to install that form on your site, to build the site in the first place is just time consuming. Um, so this is, it's like we set up at the beginning, and it really does hit too close to home. Where like 2 years ago, if I had this like side project idea, it would live in like the idea stage for so long. Because whether it was like at night after the kids went to bed, I would sit down to try and like get it going, and there's so much friction in getting that initial site up or
Yeah.
whatever it is that it would just kind of die on the vine there. Um, but now it's like we literally in that time that we just demoed that went from no landing page to a landing page with a sign up form that engages, that delivers the discount. And like, and
Yeah.
that's just to show, just to prove like it doesn't need to be a blocker anymore. That's what's changed. Cool. Obviously, any other questions about that, drop them in the chat, reach out to us, drop them in the comments after the fact. We love, we love the questions and the thoughts and the ideas, and it only helps us all get better. So we encourage it and appreciate it. What do you say we jump over to the mailbag?
Let's do it.
All right. So viewer Rara asked, and what's up, Rara, if you're here, what is the best way to use tags? What's the best way to set up a follow-up message for the new forms? I have 2 submissions, and now what? So a little bit of that we covered, right? We showed, using the form builder, but really it's a, practice for any kind of signups is you can apply a tag and then kick off an automated workflow to deliver something specific to that sign up or that tag. But Chris, what are some other ways besides that tags can be useful?
Well, another way that you can use them is to segment your subscribers.
Hmm.
Let me actually just get my correct screen up. So right now I only have 2 subscribers in this list that I'm looking at, but let me see, what tags do they have? So this subscriber has a bunch of different tags. One of them is auto newsletter. So let me actually add a new one just for the purpose of this. So I'm going to add the tag customer, and let's say I have my e-commerce store add that tag whenever somebody buys from me. Or you can sell digital products on AWeber landing pages as well. And when somebody buys it, I would set it up so it added the tag customer. And then what I can do is I can search for people where the tag is customer, and I can save that as a filter, and I would call it customers. Now, in the future, when I send broadcast messages, I can send to only that customer segment. That's really useful when you're trying to get the right message to the right person at the right time. Like
Mm,
that's one of the mantras we follow when we think about email marketing is your goal is not just to blast. I hate the term blast when it comes to emails because like you don't blast your potential customers. You try and connect with them. And so like getting the right message to the right person at the right time when they're ready to buy is the goal of email marketing. So that's the one. And that's really easy to do. Just make sure that you're applying tags based on somebody buying from you or somebody signing up from a specific page or a specific offer, and then you can segment those people.
yeah.
But if you want to get really tricky and creative, you can do something called using dynamic content. And what that means is different content will show in a message that you might send to 100 people. People might see different sections in that message based on the tags that they have. So
Mhm.
this is just like a basic message. And you see these elements in the curly braces. This is the logic behind the dynamic content. It's saying if the customer is in a subscriber's tags. So if they're tagged customer, show them this. I'm going to ask them for a review.
Mhm.
And if not, if they don't have the tag customer, I'm going to promote my product.
Mhm.
So if I go over into preview and test, you can see that by default, it's going to show promote your product. But if the person has the tag customer, it's going to switch for that person only
Yeah.
to ask for a review. And you can do some really wild things with this. Like in AWeber's onboarding, there's some certain things that if you do them, you're much more likely to be successful. And it's like adding your first couple subscribers, publishing a landing page, a couple other things. And we've set up tags inside of AWeber. So as you do those things, you get tags applied. So when you're getting onboarding messages from us, if you've done the stuff that we think you should do,
Mm.
you see a checklist with those items checked off. If you haven't done those things, then you see a checklist with links to help you do them and complete them. So you can use this in onboarding. You can use it when promoting products. You can use it just for creative reasons as well. You could show different content to people who live in one country versus another country or one state versus another state. It's
Yeah,
really
I
powerful.
think about, like, service providers so much, like coaches, like, let's say you're a fitness coach, and you may have some potential clients or prospects, or existing clients who are interested in fitness for weight loss. Others
Yes.
might be interested in building muscle mass. They're gonna want completely different content, and you can deliver it by knowing, which category they fit in dynamically in a single email. And just to reiterate too, like Chris is showing this by like swapping out the text, ask for a review with promote your product, but that could be blocks of text, image, buttons,
Yeah.
links, whatever sits within those brackets, where ask for a review is, that's what gets like swapped out. So you can have, um, completely different emails delivering in a single send based on those tags and that segmentation.
Yeah, it's incredibly powerful. That's a great point. So let's say I wanted to show an image. Um, let's just pick this image of a house under construction. If you're a customer for some reason, it doesn't just have to be text. That's a great, great point. So
Yeah.
with customer applied, they'll see that image. But if customer isn't applied, it falls back to the fallback. And you can stack things like Jesse was saying too. I could have an image and a button. It's just whatever you put inside those brackets.
Mhm. It's pretty incredible. I
Yeah,
think that's like one of the most powerful and maybe under communicated sometimes, or underutilized, I should say, like powers of tags, is being able to deliver that tailored content.
yeah.
Um, I saw another great question here too, from Tracy, and that was just: is there a way to set up a sequence to send out past email newsletters to new subscribers so they get that content too? Hard
Uh,
yes.
yeah, it's and that's actually something we see people do frequently. Where oftentimes what they'll do, this is really clever, that really smart thinking, is they'll take like their highest performing newsletters because
Mhm.
because it is kind of a pain in the neck, and I would say not terribly worth it to have people who signed up yesterday receive all of your newsletters going back years if
Mhm.
you've been sending newsletters for years. But what is really valuable is if you've been sending for months or years, find your most popular, the highest engaged ones, or the ones that people thought were so interesting that they responded to, add them to a workflow and set it for 30 days or whatever it is. And while people are in their first 30 days, let them get their newsletter from that. And then
Mhm.
once they're done with that, then you can start including them in your main newsletter flow. And I think that could be a fun thing for us to go through a tutorial of some time as well, because it's really, really a fun and interesting and a clever way to think about giving people a lot of useful content
Yeah.
early and really hooking them on the value you can provide.
Yeah, and so like and just to clarify too, like you can set wait times between sends in those workflows. So you can say, maybe it's triggered by maybe it's on sign up, or maybe it's triggered by a tag. That tag could be applied at the end of a welcome series. So like first they go into your welcome series, and then at the end of that they get a certain tag applied, which allows you to know they've made it through the welcome series, and that tag might trigger the workflow where they get the kind of evergreen blog or newsletter or blog content. Um, and that those newsletters are being sent with, maybe it's a 1 week delay between sends. So once a week they're getting something, or
Yeah.
whatever you decide you want it to be.
Actually, can I just show how to do this in just
Yeah,
a
let's
couple
do it.
minutes? I'm gonna kind of breeze through it, but you can always watch back to this video later because this is such a good idea.
Yeah.
So like this is one of my newsletters, and I'm just gonna randomly pick, let's say 4, because I want my first month of newsletters to be automated, my best. But let's say I pick these are 1, 2, and I'm just hitting this button duplicates them
Mhm.
because I'll want to copy the messages I
Gonna make
sent.
it super easy for you in a second.
Yeah, so that's 3 and then 4. And you can see that now I have these 4 drafts right here, right? So now I'm going to go into workflows, which is under automation, and I'm going to create a new workflow. And I'm going to say, I'm going to start from scratch just because I just want the messages that I made. And I'm going to call this onboarding newsletters. And for the purpose of this, I'm going to have this go to everyone who joins my list. Okay. So all subscribers, regardless of how they join, I could have that based on a tag if I wanted to. But now I'm just going to hit this add a step. And then I'm going to choose those 4 messages. I think it's like that was one. I don't remember which ones I made. But
Yeah.
between them, I'm going to add wait steps. So I'm going to wait 7 days. Whoops. Sorry, I'm trying to go too fast. Wait 7 days. And then I'll add the next one. And this is my newsletter is would you rather scenarios. It's pretty fun. But let's say I do that for all the messages. There's one important step that you don't want to miss,
Mm.
because what I'm going to do is I'm going to say when I'm sending my normal newsletter, I want to exclude people who are in this workflow. So they're not getting twice as many emails, you know?
Yeah. So you're not just
So
bombarding them and making them want to unsubscribe.
yes. Yeah. So I'm going to add at the end of this, once they're done with my onboarding, I'm going to add a tag called onboarded. Okay. And that tag is going to tell me this person has finished this workflow. And then I could publish that. I'm actually not going to publish this because I don't want people to get this. But remember that I have this tag called onboarded because I have to do one more thing now. I need to go over to my subscribers and I need to create a segment. Okay. So now that segment is I'm going to call it onboarded, and I'll save that segment. So
Mhm.
now when I send messages in the future, I want to send it only to that onboarded segment, not to everyone. Make sense?
Yeah, that's awesome, and just such a like important little step there, so you're not just kind of creating layers upon layers of campaigns or sequences where you're just emailing them nonstop. We talk about it a lot at AWeber. It's like one of the best practices is set expectations. So like for my Havertown newsletter, when I set very specific, it's once a week on Mondays at 7 a.m. But you might just be like, weekly news about this, or weekly tips for whatever, or bi-monthly, whatever the cadence that you set, but like stick to the expectations that you set. So part of that is ensuring that you're not like adding these evergreen newsletter sequences and then suddenly you're tripling and quadrupling how often you're sending to them.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, this was fun. I hope it was practical and useful. If you decide to go spin up a landing page and install an AWeber form using the AI sign up form builder, and kick off a workflow, we would love to not only see what you built, but hopefully share it on a future episode. So please send it our way if you end up building something. You could let us know in the comments. You can email Jesse K at AWeber.com or Chris TV at AWeber.com. And we would love to share that and take a look at it. Chris, any final thoughts?
No, other than just do it. Like if you're trying to build a business or you're trying to build an email audience, just do it. Take the time to add a interesting form to your site. Actually, you know what? I will say one thing. I recently have been on this kick that the internet has gotten so boring because everybody's pages are look like everyone else's pages, or they're hidden behind Facebook's third party walled garden, and everything just looks and feels the same. And I grew up in the late 80s, early 90s internet, where folks were at early 2000s, even, where folks were just figuring things out, making weird stuff. Lots of ugly things were on the internet back then, but
Lots
at
of
least
really cool animated GIFs all on one page.
yeah, but they felt interesting,
Yeah.
when you saw a page, you frequently your brain was like, what is this? And that's it's an interesting it's a good, I think, way to interact with the world, is to put something out there that isn't just the same thing everyone else has. So in the spinner wheel Jesse shared, how can you make that even more unique? I have a pickleball e-commerce store. When my pop-up pops up, it shoots out cucumber emojis behind it. What is the thing that you can do when you're in the midst of creating this page on Lovable or this form in AWeber that you can do to add just a little bit of personality to it? So when people see it, it's not just another flat, dead page on the internet, you know?
And we've talked about that. I think when we were showing Lovable a little bit more in depth on a prior episode, like one of the like digs against Lovable is like, if you've been close to it, like you hit a point where you're like, I can spot a Lovable site because
Yeah.
because it's very familial. It has a specific style. It's capable of so much, but you really have to push it. It's like Chris said earlier, if you give a really vague prompt, it's going to make some best guesses to fill in the blanks in its context and understanding, but it has a style that it uses to fill that in for the most part.
Yep.
So the more explicitly you can describe what you're looking for and push it, visually and content wise beyond what it would just come up with on its own, the more compelling and frankly useful and not
Yeah.
boring your site's gonna be.
Yeah. And dude, I don't know if you feel this way, but I feel like when talk casually or
Mhm.
type casual, I do a lot of text to speech. I'll just turn on my text to speech and and I'll just ramble to it and it'll convert it to text. But when I do that and I'm talking more casually and just trying to get my point across without worrying about the specific grammar and being perfect in what I'm saying, sometimes even repeating myself in the prompt, I get better results, get
Mhm.
more interesting results that don't just feel like another Lovable site or just another Claude code design or something, you know?
Oh, I think like the best add-on layer or practice to these conversational AI tools is voice dictation, uh,
Yeah.
which I'll use too. And I'll just kind of go like just train of thought. Like it's I don't always have exactly what I want to tell it in mind when I start to dictate the prompt. And I don't want to say I'll ramble, but I'll just kind of work through it. It's like talking through your thoughts out loud, and I'll just let it capture all of it. And sometimes I'll double back on that and be like, actually, instead of that, like use this kind of color palette instead.
Yeah.
But I
I'll
don't
do
go
that
back
too.
and edit that part of the prompt. I just tell it, you know what, never mind, do this instead.
Yeah.
And just let it go. And that's like, to me, that's the best way to get an explicit, specific prompt, not sitting there and trying to write or craft the perfect thorough prompt. Like,
Yeah.
it's not necessary. Yeah, right on. All right. Well, I hope everybody here is going to hopefully put this into practice and build something really cool with it that doesn't look like everything else. Share it with us. And most importantly, I hope you're going to take some time away from your computer, away from your phones, away from AI. Chris, what are you doing? We've had 4 days of rain in the Northeast. Have you been able to touch grass literally or metaphorically?
I've been outside with the dogs. That's the
There you
dogs get me outside. The thing I have to do, and this I already use this, but such is life. Weed the garden again. Like the
Yeah.
rain has been great for my little garden, but it's also overgrown with all these invading weeds.
For sure. Yeah, mine look like that too, but I'm not going to touch it because I don't feel like it. I'm just trying to get out and get some sunshine. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I hope that everybody here gets outside, refreshes, and then comes back and builds something really cool.
Yeah.
Share it with us if you do. Thank you to AWeber, which we featured a lot today and makes this show possible. If you're interested in starting with email, check them out. They're incredible. AWeber.com/start. Chris and I both work there. So sure, bias, but man, like some super amazing stuff being built that makes, small business owners' lives easier. People who don't want to spend their entire week email marketing and growing their business, but they need the results.
Yeah. And come back. We do this every Tuesday and Friday. And please,
Eastern.
And recommend us to a friend too. If you found this valuable at all, if you found it helpful or interesting or motivating or encouraging, whatever it is, please recommend it to a friend. Like I use AWeber in small businesses that I run because I'm have been entrepreneurial for a while. I think it's so much fun. And the amount of times, basically everything that's ever gone right for me in business has been because somebody helped me out or recommended something for me to try or listen to. So if there's somebody that you want to encourage and bring up alongside you as you're building your business, we would love to have you recommend. We would appreciate it really to have you recommend us to them as well. We want to grow this so we can do more and more interesting things and learn more on our own, teach more. And your recommendations helping us grow the community is a huge help.
Yeah, even if you just think a friend might show up and laugh at the intro stinger, like Vinny.
Yes, yeah. He's been tuned out for like 50 minutes.
Yeah. Vinny meant it. Vinny meant, I'm just here for the interesting and then peace. Thanks y'all so much. Chris, stick around. Marlene's got some tips on keeping the weeds down.
Thank you.
Some Amish YouTube farmers tips.
I will do that. I'm going to do that.
Anything to make it less frequent, right? Yeah. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for being here. We'll see you on Friday at noon Eastern.
Drew is really good at making other people look really good.
Stunning.
And with the help of AWeber's marketing platform, he's built an entire audience on his ability to turn heads. So even though Drew's just a team of one, it never really feels that way.
That's a wrap, folks. Come on out.
Drew uses AWeber. It's how teams of one get more done.
Oh, thanks, Tim. Have sweet. You're the best, Tim.
With AWeber, it's like he has a whole staff helping him grow his audience and build professional-looking content.
And send. You got it. Great job, team.
From automated email campaigns.
Oh, of course, sign up. You got it from here.
To insight-packed reports.
How are we looking on new subscribers? Is that the day we launch the new course? Nice.
AWeber gives Drew the freedom to go forth.
Hey.
And be Drew. AWeber. Time